Hey there, Start here. So we're going back to the depths of chaos, and I'm starting to work my way through the individual boss trials. So if you saw my video yesterday, we did the boss rush, the depths of chaos rush, which is basically just all 6 of these first trials put together in a wave battle type of thing. So the thing about these individual ones is they have different party requirements for the missions. So like for example here, you can see there's a mission for Rebellion category units only and Evocation category units, and then clear within 5 turns. I think all of them have the clear 5 turns mission, but the other ones have some different ones. Sometimes they have things like the Gathering, Royal Arms. This one has, I think, Blessing of the Crystals and Evocation, and I think that's all. I think it's just sort of mixing, matching of those. Yeah, Blessing of the Crystals, the Gathering. So I think it's just... So I think the only teams they have are the Rebellion, Evocation, Blessing of the Crystals, Royal Arms, and the Gathering. So as long as you can feel the team of those, you should be able to get all missions on these. It's really difficult to get all missions in one battle, like especially for this one, because you can't make a party that is both Rebellion and Evocation. I don't think it's actually possible. I don't think there are enough Rebellion units that are also Evocation units that are also strong enough to clear this in 5 turns. It's just not possible. So this one, I'll have to go back and do this eventually, but I wanted to start with a Rebellion category. And the only 2 trials that have Rebellion category are Dark Nike and Dark Ate. And Dark Ate is just Rebellion category, and then no continues, clear within 5 turns. So this one, we can do an all missions clear on this one using a Rebellion team, but we won't be able to do it on Dark Nike. Okay, so I'm going to do both of these, and I'm going to use the exact same team. It's a Rebellion team. We're going to use the same team and do both of these trials right here, right now, in this video. So you can see I've already done it. So let's go ahead and I'll show you the team that I'm going to use for both. I'm not bringing a friend unit. You could if you wanted to. You could do a filter and bring Rebellion units. So, for example, let's see, category. Let's go find the Rebellion. There we go. So you can do that, and you can see if there's anybody like... There is an NV plus Tifa on the list, or actually, sorry, that's just a regular NV Tifa. Actually, it's not even NV plus. But if you find a unit that works for you, or maybe you don't have a unit on my party that you want to use, you can use that filter. But I'm gonna go without a companion. So this is a 5 units only. And we're going to get this one done. So here is my Rebellion team that we're going to use for both fights. So I'm going to show you the gear now for both fights, and then I'm just going to do both fights. So one team, one build, because both of these are human fairy. So you don't have to worry about like swapping killers for these fights. They're both the exact same enemy type. So that makes it really easy to just take the same team into both fights and get it done. And the fights are a little bit different, so we're gonna approach the fights a little bit differently. So that the nice thing is it's not just like boring, like, oh, you're using the exact same strategy for both fights. There's actually a different strategy for both fights, so I will show both of them. If there's a unit missing from this one, I think the biggest one that's probably most people are going to be hurting for is probably Wondrous Flash Lightning. She is, probably my best Rebellion unit because she is a Rebellion leader. And she's also quite strong as a premium Neovision. I am bringing NV plus Tifa because she's also quite strong and she is a Rebellion category unit. Cloud is there, because he's a Rebellion unit, so that's really helpful. But he's also there to do some chaining with Lightning because he does triple bolting strike on his LB. Locke is great. This is the old Locke, not the new one, but he is a Rebellion category, and I'm using him for his 90% defense break, so that's pretty important. And then Runda is also a Rebellion category unit, and he's just here to, for tanking, for mitigations, keeping the party alive, and that's pretty much all he's here for. So let's take a look at the gear. Fairly budget gear on Runda. I'm not doing anything too fancy. Backup unit. Backup unit is very important for, especially in, I think it's the next fight against Dark Ate, for the charm resist, because we want to make sure he's charm resistant and death resistant. I think Ate does death as well. Maybe not on the first turn. Anyways, death and charm resistance are pretty important there for Runda. He's also our passive provoke unit. So yeah, nothing too fancy here. I went pretty budget on his build. You see, this is even like a generic card, so nothing too fancy for Runda there. I mean, Runda does what Runda does, and he's pretty hard to kill. Lightning here in her normal form can be whatever. It's not important. Some status, some ailment resist is important, however, so make sure she's ailment resist in her normal form. In her brave shift form, just kind of full on damage, right? So she's got her STMR, as much damage as you can give her. Magister's Ring for the Chain Cat boost. So if you don't have Magister's Ring, some other form of Chain Cat boost for her there. And then, yeah, we're just maxing out her killers, which is pretty easy for her. As you can see, I just got a regular 50% Man-Eater and a 50% Spirit Killer, because since she's a premium unit, just slap Bahamut on her and two 50% Materias, and she is capped and good to go. Since mine's EX3, hers has her own vision card. If yours is only EX2, just, you know, put whatever vision card you have in that slot. So, like I said, the killers we're concerned with are human and fairy for these guys, and she's capped on that, and everything else, she is good to go. Tifa in her normal form, most important thing is to have Tidus's Garb for the preemptive LB boost. If you don't have that, if you have Blades of Black Flame Reagan's Materia, you can put that in this slot. You don't really need to build her for anything important in this form. She can be whatever in her normal form. She just needs some form of preemptive LB boost in this form. In her Brave Shift, you can focus more on damage. So 2 fists. Kaiser Knuckles is great for her. If you don't have it, just the next strongest fist that you have. I gave her some Clash Gear, at least one of her STMRs. Moonshade Earring is for the ailment resist. So you definitely need that ailment resist. That's pretty important. And let's see, so here's her killers. I basically just focused on the fairy killers because she hits human killer pretty easily. She's not capped on fairy killer though. It's pretty hard to cap her on fairy killer. She is capped on human, but only 225 fairy. You know, it is what it is. And then yeah, this is the free water card that you get. If you have something better for her, definitely put it on there. And then just making sure you've got her TDW capped up there. We still don't have any free EX Materias to use on Tifa, and the new one that I think they're releasing, this week, we did finally see in the news that they're going to release a new EX Materia. I don't even think that works on Tifa. Maybe it does. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think what the category was. No, I think it's Blessings of the Crystals, which she is not. So, can't even use it on Tifa. It's crazy. All right. So, still no free EX Materias for Tifa. Locke can be kind of whatever in this form, but the most important thing is Sword of Kings for the power to destroy Nethicite. We're going to need that on the Dark Ate fight. So, that is very important. Everything else can be whatever. Sword of Kings is absolutely necessary, and that is that's the 5-star Ashes STMR. Should be very easy to acquire. And just, yeah, ailment resist is another important thing. Make sure he has ailment resist. Yeah, everything else can be whatever. Like I said, he's here for his force hunt. You do have to use crowns on it to get a 90% defense break. But that is huge because, you know, these bosses have no passive stats, so the bigger the break, the more damage you're going to do. Because we don't have any kind of, like, we don't have an amp field, we don't have an imperil field, so the best thing we can do is just increase our break. So if you haven't crowned Locke yet, definitely dump some crowns in him. I did this a long time ago. I've been using him for trials forever. Like, I use him on all the Grace trials. Like, best 4 crowns I ever spent on a unit. Like, this guy just comes in handy so much on trial content. But yeah, that's really all you need. Let's see. Cloud can be whatever in his normal form, but he does, just like Tifa, need some form of preemptive LB boost, whether it be Tidus's Garb or the preemptive LB boost Materia from Blades of Black Flame Reagan. Otherwise, he can be kind of whatever in this form. And then in his Brave Shift form, You notice I've given him Crimson Claws. All right, this is actually more important for the Dark Ate fight. If you want, you can give him Clouds. You can give him the Buster Sword for the Dark Nike fight. That's fine. He can have the Buster Sword for Dark Nike fight because he'll be able to use his normal LB on turn 1 to set up the Great Sword Imperil. But for the Dark Ate fight, you definitely want to give him either a fist or a sword, because he's not going to have time to do his Great Sword Imperil on turn 1, because we're going to be killing on turn 2. So we're going to be doing a setup on turn 1, killing on turn 2 for the Dark Ate fight. That's why he's got Crimson Claws. You could also, if you have another copy of Lightning's STMR, you could put that in there. You know, it's whatever you have, all right? But yeah, otherwise just, you know, trying to do your best. I honestly didn't even bother with the Fairy Killer on him because he has no innate Fairy Killer, so I didn't even bother. But he does have full Chain Cat boost. I gave him True Vampirism for 1 form because he has no innate Chain Cat boost, so keep that in mind. So you need 2 forms. So True Vampirism, and then this is Ibarra's Vision card, so that's another form of Chain Cat boost. You could do True Vampirism and like Indestructible Light or a Magister's Ring over here or something like that. But yeah, and he has the ailments that you're really concerned about. The one I'm most concerned about is Confuse. So that's the one that I really care about, and he's got that one. But yeah, and I think that's everybody, right? All right, so there's the gear. Let's get in. We're going to do Dark Nike first. This will be a 3-turn clear. Pretty simple, just, you know, turn 1, Tifa puts a stack on her LB, and then turn 2, we set up, turn 3, we burst and kill. All right, let's get it done. All right, so Runda starts with just doing his LB. This way, you know, the party's got 80% general mitigation. He'll cover any physical damage, and then the mitigation should make sure we don't take too much damage from any magic attacks. All right, Lightning. On turn 1, she can do her her LB for the bigger Lightning Imperil. Locke will go ahead and do Force Hunt. Cloud, if you give him Buster Sword, I'll go ahead and do it as if you had Buster Sword. I'm not going to bother to change gear because he's not dealing that much damage. But if you need that little extra bit of damage and you want to put Buster Sword in his Brave Shift form, you're going to do his LB on this turn, right? Tifa's going to shift, put a stack on her LB. All right, so we're just going to do LB, LB, LB. All right. We don't really care about the damage here. It's going to do practically nothing. That's fine. Okay, so there's the Charm, which Runda is charm resistant thanks to the backup unit. That's a free piece of gear, by the way, that you get from doing the story. Okay, Runda. He'll now do his cover, Runda Barrier, and Shelga for any magic attacks that the party might take. That puts up magic mitigation for the party. Lightning can now do, she's just going to get set up here. So we'll do Elemental Burst Lightning, The Whole World is Against Us, and How I Live is up to me. Cloud is going to shift. All right, because his LB is Elementalist, so you have to imbue him. So he'll do Plasma Slicer to imbue, Ignition for the mod boost, and Elemental Burst Lightning for the 150 amp. Tifa, Unbridled Strength for the buffs, Elemental Burst Water for the amp, and just Chi Trap to have something to do. Locke can honestly just guard on this turn. He has nothing else relevant to add to the party. He's done his job. So even though it's the Meteor animation, it's actually a physical attack. So Runda covers it. Beautiful. We're great. And now we're just ready to kill this thing. All right, so make sure Lightning shifts. Okay, I've made that mistake before where I forget to Brave Shifter. Make sure Cloud is also in his Brave Shift form, which he should be if you're doing last turn. So since we have the, since our Cloud is wielding a fist, you definitely want to make sure Tifa goes first for the Fist Imperil. Actually, it already has the Fist Imperil from the first stack, doesn't it? Yeah, okay, never mind. So you don't really have to worry about it. I'm still going to tap Tifa first, and then I'll send Cloud and Lightning fairly shortly after, because her Brave Shift LB doesn't have quite as big of a wind-up as her normal LB does. So it should hit pretty easily at the end of the chain. So this should kill the boss. Let's see how we do. There we go. Boss is dead. 3 turns. Almost all missions, you know. Like I said, I will come back and do... I'll do any trials that have the evocation party. I'll basically just build one evocation team and go and do, you know, all the trials that have that team category, and that's kind of what my plan is over the next, you know, few days. I mean, we don't have a lot of interesting content coming up this week, so I'll have time. I'll have time to do this. So yeah, there's the damage spread. Tifa and Lightning pretty much leading the way. Cloud just kind of cleaning up what's left. I'm not actually sure how much HP the boss has. Probably like 5 bill. Could be 4. I'm not sure. I should actually check on that. But yeah, that was enough to get the job done and get, you know, 3 out of 4 missions. So we'll come back and do that evocation category another time. So now let's do Dark Ate. This one will be an all missions clear, and we're going to do this one in 2 turns. The reason being, Dark Ate is a real pain in the butt, because I'm going to turn this filter off actually while I'm here, because I don't want that to be stuck. She dispels you every single turn. That's basically Dark Ate's little gimmick, is she just does a full party dispel every turn. Now, it's the white magic spell Dispelga, which is great, because then that means you can seal it. That's what the power of Nethicite, or the power to destroy Nethicite, is going to be used for. Okay? But she does it every single turn. In some turns, she does other magic abilities that will then consume that Nethicite before she does the Dispelga. But on turn 1, she doesn't. She doesn't do any other magic except for Dispelga. So that's why we're going to set up turn 1, use the Nethicite, then Locke will do his breaks on turn 2, leaving us wide open to kill the boss on turn 2. Okay? So same gear, same team. We haven't changed anything. Let's get in there and see how we get this done. All right, Runda does the same thing, just does the mitigations. Lightning is going to do, on this one, she'll do Imperilga to make sure we have a Lightning Imperil, Elemental Burst, and the whole world is against us. We're not going to worry about How I Live is up to me, because she has the 35% Sword Imperil on her LB, so we don't really need the 40%, and we just don't have the action economy for it anyways, but we do want to do the whole world is against us for the mod boost to her LB. Cloud's going to go ahead and shift. All right, we don't have time to do his normal LB, which is why he's wielding a fist. Plasma Slicer Ignition and Elemental Burst Lightning, so that he's all set up. Tifa's going to go ahead and shift. All right, we don't have time to put a stack on her LB, so she's just going to go ahead and gear up and get ready. So Unbridled Strength, Elemental Burst Water, Cheat Trap. Okay, these guys can go ahead and go. Let's go ahead and send them. All right, and then Locke will do Power to destroy Nethicite. All right, you notice even without any breaks, Runda comes nowhere close to dying, right? It's insane. Okay, so we have not been dispelled, thank goodness. So we still have all of our amps, all of our buffs, all of our imbues. So now we are ready to kill. So make sure you shift Lightning. Again, I've made that mistake before. Okay, Cloud does LB, LB, LB. This one you definitely want to make sure Tifa goes first. We also want to make sure we have broken the boss with Force Hunt for the 90% break. Now I'm going to hold off on Runda. You know, I've killed this boss on turn 2, I think, in pretty much all my test runs. But if for some reason, like, everybody decides to roll super low, there's a chance we might come up short. I want to keep Runda alive just so that we can do his cover mitigations and all of that stuff, because the boss will throw some elemental magic. It's mostly just for the elemental cover. All right, So I'm going to send Tifa first to make sure the Fist in Peril is in place, and then send Cloud and Lightning. Yeah, there you go. I've never come up short in all of my test runs, but I mean, you might if your units aren't quite as strong. You know, okay. So they must have 4 billion. Okay, because that was just over 4 billion, and we killed the boss. So they must have 4 billion HP. So there is a possibility you could roll low and come up short. I think that's the lowest I've rolled in all my tests. I'm usually doing like 4.3, 4.5 there. But yeah, there's the spread. Again, Lightning and Tifa doing the majority of the damage, and Cloud just kind of cleaning up the mess that is left behind. All right. And that is an all missions clear against Dark Ate. And that's pretty much it. Those are the only ones that have Rebellion category units. I'm just going to double check to make sure. Yeah, this is Gathering and Royal Arms. This one is Blessing and Evocation. This one's Gathering and Blessing. I just did that one. Yeah, Blessing and the Gathering. And then this one's Royal Arms. Yeah, Royal Arms is probably going to be the hardest one for me. I don't actually think I have that many good Royal Arms. Well, no, I guess I've got Flaring Ether Rain. He's Royal Arms, right? Is he? Actually, he should be, because he's a king. Yeah, I'm not. I haven't planned out all of my teams yet. Rebellion was just the easiest one to slap together real quick. But yeah, I'll eventually get through all of these, and as I get through them, I'll of course record them for you guys and post them. You know, maybe like 1 or 2 a day. We'll just kind of see how it goes, and see what I'm able to get done. But thank you guys for following me. Hopefully this was helpful, and I will see you on the other side.